A very good evening and welcome to Crossfire. It's Crossfire Thursday right here on KTN News. We are delighted to have your company with us. My name is Sophia Wanuna. My guest this evening, I have with me on my immediate left the immediate former Majority Whip in the Senate, Irungu Kangata. He is the Muranga senator as well. Next to him is the Secretary General, the Kanu party, that's Nick Salat. And on the extreme left is David Murathe, he's Vice Chair, the Jubilee Party. Also joining us from Bungoma County is Kositany. He's so a Member of Parliament. All of you gentlemen, we thank you for being with us here on Crossfire tonight. And for our viewers, you can be part of this conversation. The hashtag to use this evening is Crossfire. You can tag me at Sophia Wanuna. So it has been a big day, gentlemen, for the BBI proponents. We saw the team at State House earlier today thanking the county assemblies for the huge endorsement, for the resounding victory, if you like. Kangata, however, I'll begin with you, because are you then sitting and watching the latest developments and thinking, as some would argue, that is a false prophet, that there's now egg on your face that you're struggling to wipe after that letter that had said that Central Kenya would drop this, would fail, see the BBI trounced?
Kindly, I would urge you to reread that letter. And I think I sent you an extract of that letter. I don't know whether you can read for the viewers before we proceed.
Viewers have read it and we'll put up those graphics.
No, it is important because if you read that letter, I indicated very clearly that I project the assemblies will pass. And I think that would be important for the viewers to read and know that I have done that projection, that I strongly suspect the assemblies would pass.
Yeah, but what was your warning for the president?
And therefore, I've been vindicated because I knew very well the assemblies would pass, and I indicated in that letter.
But you were warning the president that in Mount Kenya, it would flop.
No, I'd said...
You'd done the survey.
Yes, as at that time we had done a survey, and the BBI was unpopular. I didn't talk about assemblies. In fact, when I talked about, I didn't say it was unpopular among the assemblies. I said I suspect the assemblies will pass the bill. But
the assemblies, those are representatives of the people.
No, I know how government works. I know it's very easy to mobilize and manipulate MCAs, and therefore I knew it would be very easy for a government that is strategic and strong to mobilize and ensure MCAs endorse the BBI bill.
So you still maintain it's unpopular, but that you're saying yes, with the MCAs it has passed, but it will still fail at some point in Central Kenya. Is that your statement?
No, again, also don't put words into my mouth.
That's why I've asked the question.
I said no. When you look at that letter, I was saying BBI was unpopular as at that time. As to whether it will go up or it will remain unpopular, I think I may have to do another survey and confirm that.
Yeah. So when you hear this vice chair that he was sure the MCAs would pass it and that the machinery, the government, the president, the Raila Odinga ODM leader would have the capacity to make sure this sails through, what do you say?
I don't understand Senator Kangata in terms of how he seems to be changing his position. He has been on TV, on radio, even after the fact, trying to suggest that the MCAs were compromised with vehicles and such. For your information, most of these MCAs actually have vehicles. So to suggest that you can demean the character of a leader who is the leader closest to the ground. And Sophia, politicians are very selfish and they are very opportunistic. Nobody is ever going to gamble against the will of the people, particularly when you are at that level. Kangata himself started off as an MCA. MCAs are with the people every day on a daily basis, and they are the best judges of the mood on the ground. Where Kangata did his survey, because I remember him saying he has been in the village and he has talked to a few people, Muranga voted 53-0 to pass this referendum. And it was a head count. It was not acclamation. So I'm actually wondering where Kangata did his survey. Actually, there was a joke on Twitter that he did it in Baringo. And by the way, Baringo is being repeated because what happened in Baringo is well known, documented. The MCAs from Kapedo area could not move the same way the members of parliament could not move. You know the clashes that were around there. Tiati, which is Kamket, had 14 who were not present. And when the other MCAs insisted that they needed time for public participation, they needed time to have their colleagues join them, that is where all hell broke loose. Nobody is going to accept that result from the Speaker of Baringo County, more so the speakers of the National Assembly, because everybody saw that there was no conclusion to that debate. The courts have pronounced themselves about Baringo.
All right.
So as we are talking now, it is only Nandi which has voted against. And by the way, it was 23-13. So you can see even in Nandi, like half of the county assembly voted yes. So I don't know where they are getting this idea from that the BBI is not popular on the ground.
Yeah, so Vice Chair, on the case of Baringo, I'll bring it to SG Kanu. Is it an issue that concerns you? As he said, it's in court. We're waiting for it to be canvassed on the way forward. But does it concern you in the larger political landscape, what transpired?
Yeah, thank you for having me. First and foremost, I would like to say that Baringo was of concern to us as Kanu, and having our chairman being the senator representing Baringo. I look at it like it was the first point of attack because of the sibling rivalry that exists between Mheshimiwa Senator Moi and the Deputy President. And it was done in a manner that really lacked the normal required procedure. There was no public participation. And it was sad in that after it was done in that way, the Deputy President went ahead to celebrate that no votes. But the courts have decided that the process was not adhered to, so they are right now they have sent a stay to Parliament, both houses, that do not accept the verdict, the results from Baringo. So yes, we are concerned, but as you can tell, I have just arrived from Bomet, where we were in all indications that it was a red zone. But thank God the Assembly of Bomet and also Kericho saw sense in BBI and they passed it.
Yeah.
So today we are saying that Bomet, and I thank the MCAs for Bomet, and I do want to echo what the Vice Chair is saying. The MCAs are the people who are on daily in contact with the common mwananchi.
Right.
So for Bomet, the verdict that was brought to yes was a reflection of exactly what's happening on the ground here.
And I want to bring this to Honorable Kositany. I hope you can still hear us. As I have you comment on this, the Deputy President is on record talking about the need to stop reggae. I want us to play that sound bite before we come to you, sir. Deputy President addressing members of the public and talking about BBI. Let's play that before we get to hear from Honorable Kositany, please.
Na mimi nataka niwaambie kanisa letu la Kenya na watu wote wanaomcha Mungu katika Kenya ya kwamba Kenya ni nchi ya Mungu na maombi. Kenya sio nchi ya reggae na bangi na waganga. Kenya ni nchi ya Mungu na maombi. Ninyi mnanielewa? Hiyo ndio Kenya, na Kenya itazidi kuwa ni nchi ambayo inamcha Mungu. Na msikuwe na wasiwasi. Hii reggae na bangi na waganga tutawakomesha Kenya hii. Hawawezi.
The Deputy President, the Honorable Kositany, I hope you managed to hear that, saying that he reggae, bangi, waganga, zote tutakomesha. In light of Super Tuesday and how far BBI has come, where does the Deputy President stand right now? Does this completely tear apart this narrative of stopping reggae for him?
Thank you, Sophia, and good evening, my fellow panelists, Murathe, Kangata, and Nick Salat. Sophia, I feel actually it surprises me when I see the Kieleweke team in a celebration mode about the passage of the BBI in the counties. You know, it is like somebody coming, challenging you to a contest, and he has held a gun to your head. And then once you submit because you fear for your life, they go ahead and claim they had a very popular victory. The issue of passage of BBI through the county assemblies is actually a joke. It's actually a fallacy. It's actually an insult to the intelligence of Kenyans. When you summon MCAs to intimidate them, like the Baringo MCAs were summoned, and they were intimidated by Tuju. They were told that this is a party position. There is no party position, in, as far as I'm concerned, in Jubilee. And Murathe there will bear me witness. He's the vice chair. I am the deputy SG. We have never held a meeting. There has never been a meeting where we have even been informed of its venue, where it would take place, and me and the deputy president declined to attend. So there has never been a party position. But if they went on, and the Baringo MCAs went on and rejected the BBI proposal, and then the next thing they were summoned to EACC. And that was not actually just intimidate the Baringo MCAs. That was a message to all other MCAs that if you do this, this is what is coming. So MCAs voted, they were intimidated. I said this earlier today that members of the county assembly deserve the car grant. Members of parliament, we get it. Members of the county assembly deserve the car grant. But this car grant is always given when MCAs are required to perform a certain constitutional duty. I remember they were promised this car grant some years ago. Then after that election, it never materialized. They were promised in 2017 so that they could campaign vigorously for the repeat election, to campaign for President Uhuru Kenyatta. And then the car grant issue went silent. And even the way that the Salaries and Remuneration Commission ascended to the car grant issue is very suspect, because it shows you that the Salaries and Remuneration Commission is not independent. It is working at the whims of the executive. Let me come now to your question that the clip that you just played of the Deputy President saying we're going to stop reggae. Sophia, BBI has not passed. It has just passed through the county assemblies. There is still a process ahead. So I'm sure the Deputy President, in his prediction, we will ask him when, if that doesn't materialize, and when it materializes, he will be vindicated.
And yet he has not mounted a substantive no campaign. So this stopping reggae, but yet fence sitting, what is that about?
There is no fence sitting, Wainuna. We said that we are for a win-win situation. We actually said we wanted a consensus. We actually said we want a multiple choice referendum. And those are the things that we put in, because this whole BBI subject is a huge thing, and the issue of 35% to counties does not require a referendum. The issue of the ward fund to be administered by the MCAs, ward development fund, does not require a referendum. What is being pushed here, or rather being escorted by all this, is the expansion of the executive, so that we can have the tribal kingpins rewarded the jobs. I saw them today parading themselves in the State House. That is not the Kenya we want. We want a Kenya whereby we will all feel that we've elected one person as the president, and that is what the narrative that the Hustler Nation has brought, whereby William Ruto being the leader. We are not looking at William Ruto that he from his tribe. We are looking at him as a leader who has an idea, who has the focus, and who has the willpower to change the lives of Kenyans.
Right. Let me bring it to Honorable Kangata first.
It's important that I respond to de facto. Actually, Caleb Kositany, he knows the processes, he knows the procedure. He knows the first thing that needed to be done was to take it for signatures. We were done with that. He knows the second phase was to go to the county assemblies. We've done that. He knows the next phase is Parliament. And it is in Parliament where they shall separate the wheat from the chaff. And no matter what Parliament does, it has to go to the people. It has to go for a referendum. Those are the steps, and we are taking those steps one by one.
All right.
And, Sophia, this is important because Caleb is not a member of the National Management Committee of the party. He knows the membership of the National Management Committee of Jubilee. The National Management Committee of Jubilee works on behalf of the NEC. And whatever they pass is only subject to ratification by the full NEC, at which he sits. So until the NEC sits to either agree with, ratify, modify, amend,
Right.
whatever the NMC has decided goes. So when the National Management Committee says, this is the position of the party leader, this is the position of the party, particularly for the nominated members of our party, you cannot be nominated by our party and then you do not toe the official line as communicated by the Secretary General.
All right, and he maintains that the party hasn't met for some time. I'll bring it to you, Kangata. You've heard what Member of Parliament Soy had to say about the EACC, and we saw you after the letter as well summoned. So do you agree with that sentiment that coercion, quote unquote, has been witnessed in this process?
Well, the truth is the democratic space in this country has been shrinking. We have seen weaponization of state institutions. And for instance, we have seen various members of parliament, various senators who have associated themselves with a certain political wing. They have been arrested. But when you see governors who are facing serious questions of corruption, by virtue that they are supporting BBI, no action is being taken against them. We have seen also situations where anyone who dissents or gives a contrary opinion is being kicked out of the party, kicked out of his position. Myself, I'm a victim. Remember,
do you regret it?
No, I don't, because you see, I was just speaking the truth. By the way, when I wrote my letter, my friend Murathe went on a vernacular radio station in FM
Yes.
station. He said, Kangata talked the truth. And so the fact is, just by speaking the truth, you get punished. So the impression the people are having out there is that the government is using hard power. In fact, one of the key reasons which is driving the no camp has nothing to do with the content of the document. It is the idea that people feel, okay, these BBI proponents have been so unfair to certain politicians. So this is an opportunity for us to punish these people. In fact, by the way...
no camp? Linda Katiba?
Well,
That's the only no camp?
I mean...
Are you in the no camp?
No, allow me to explain myself. Okay. I mean the so-called Tanga team. In fact, by the way, if Deputy President becomes the president of this country, I will say that one of the key reasons he has become the president is because my friends in the Kieleweke side are really working hard to assist the DP, either by design or by political ignorance. Because every time they do something unfair to him and or to his supporters, people are continuing to embed the idea of sympathy. Every time he goes to Kanu, for instance, in Muranga, they send goons. Yeah, who benefits is the DP, because people become sympathetic to him. Every time a political party that is associated with him goes to Nakuru, and then police go there and they cause chaos, definitely people will become sympathetic to him. Every time a government agenda is being pushed through force or through coercion, people will start to repel against from that
Is that
agenda.
Why you've joined?
Notwithstanding.
Is that why you've joined him?
No.
And those who support him? We saw them stand by you on that day.
No, the point is, me, I just spoke out my thoughts. The next day, for no good reason, I was kicked out. So the point is, I'm saying, Murathe here and my colleagues here, they are really working hard, unwittingly, to assist the DP become the president, without them knowing. Without them, either they know, because by the at times I think Senator, it's a design.
Let
Senator,
speak. Yes.
I now believe your letter was just your own thinking. It had nothing to do with the ground, because how can it be in your own county that all the number, how many 53-0, at least even would have had 3. You know, I believe now when Governor Waiguru said you can hire a Kikuyu, but you cannot. You can rent one.
Cannot buy one.
But you cannot buy one, because at least the DP should have actually received some votes for all the crowd he's been able to have when he visits Central. It is that you missed the point in the letter you have. And you even told me it's just local politics. The letter, you know, that was local politics.
Local politics.
Can I respond? For governor?
No, can I respond for a minute? Please, I have sent an extract of my letter to her.
People read the letter.
I have said, no, allow me to finish. I clearly stated in my letter, assemblies will pass BBI because of coercion.
No, Sophia,
yes.
I think it is not fair to let Mheshimiwa here continue misleading the viewership. The facts are as follows. He knows very well that what I said was that he spoke the truth to power, that people were not on the ground campaigning for BBI, and yet they were misleading the head of state that they are doing that. He has come out now in his true colors, and you have asked them something very, very simple. Why do they not go out there and campaign against the BBI? My friend Caleb is talking about multiple questions. A bill, and Caleb is in Parliament, and that bill will be a bill of Parliament to amend the Constitution. And that bill will go to the public amendment, like the American Constitution was amended several times. And people will have gone through, they will separate what can be done through legislation, and the ones that require a referendum, as outlined and enshrined in the current Constitution, they will be isolated. And that bill will then go to the public, yes or no. Do you support this amendment to this Constitution? If you like what is in it, yes. If you don't like what is in it, vote no.
So no multiple choice?
There is no multiple choice. A referendum question is, you have gone through all of it, do you like it or do you not like it?
So you've considered that he spoke truth to power. Then why did you eject him from the party after so doing?
Because even after we came out to say, please don't take it badly, he then went on misbehaving. This, our Kangata fellow. They had a leadership meeting where they even agreed to meet the next morning at the party headquarters. Everybody else turned up except Kangata.
He was being forced to apologize?
No. He did not have to retract or to withdraw. No, but there was a leadership meeting which agreed, and he was in that meeting which agreed.
He's saying Tuju
what is coming out of this Kangata
Tuju told him to apologize.
Friend, he's here, is the double speak. He will tell you one thing and do something else today. In fact, like I told you, he's coming out in two colors. He has come out now as part of the hustler narrative. He has come out as part of the Tanga. I don't know whether they still survive. And these are the people who are lying to the deputy president. If you looked at the excitement at the people after the passage of this BBI in Mount Kenya, the mood was electric. You could see, and it was spontaneous. These are not the people that they ferry to those rallies where they also hire goons like he's now. Actually, the other time he was sure it was the DP who ferried people to Keno. Now today, he's saying it is our side which ferried people to Keno. Which is which? He is a master of doublespeak.
Okay.
And unfortunately, and like I told you, he had a bright future. His trajectory was fantastic in Mount Kenya. He started as an MCA. He became a member of parliament. He is now senator. He became the chief whip in the Senate. He could only have gone higher. But his goose is cooked. I think he knows what the ground is like, and I wish him well. Some of us are going home with the president. These are the people we are going to leave behind, but I can assure you, the mood on the ground, Kangata's goose is cooked.
I'll come to you, Honorable Kositany, shortly. Perhaps a response, because you've been mentioned, Kangata, briefly.
Let me
Your
say
goose
that,
is cooked.
let me say that I respect my brother here by virtue that he is from Muranga, and therefore I take his words quite seriously. He is my potential voter. Be that as it may, I will leave that judgment to the good people of Muranga, and we shall see. I don't know. I can't really foretell the future. But the point is, my colleagues, they have been creating sympathy votes for the DP. There's no doubt about it.
Then you should be happy.
We
should be very happy.
Yeah, we are happy.
So you are part of the DP side?
No. We are not complaining, incidentally, because you go to Nakuru, DP supporters, they want to hold a rally, you send the police. Okay, people say, oh, okay, you're using hard power. Every time there's a meeting of the DP in certain place, you send goons. So, fine, continue.
You will see in the results of the by-elections in Nakuru whether you actually have that sympathy that you claim to be having.
Let me take it to Honorable Kositany, because you're out there actually in Bungoma, partly in campaigns. And so back to the question that I asked, and you talk about multiple choice for the referendum, but when is it, in your view, those who support the Deputy President, that this reggae is supposed to stop? As you said, yes, it still has quite some steps to go, but when is it then it stops? Because he said it a couple of times.
Well, Sophie, even as we sit now, reggae is on a pause, because once we have passed everything, then we are after the IBC cannot proceed even an inch, because there is a court order stopping them from proceeding with the BBI process. So I think we'll...
Honorable Kositany, yes, those are technical issues which will wait to be canvassed.
It is an issue that can lead to the stopping of reggae.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that bridge we shall cross when we get there.
But is there no strategy in your camp? So what, you're waiting, fine, if the court, for instance, allow for this to proceed, what then becomes your recourse? Because to say it will stop implies then there's a strategy to see to it that it does.
Sophie, we are not part of the court processes. Those are other Kenyans who actually feel that BBI is not a priority to Kenyans right now, and they have gone to court. We are not in control of that process, and we will not get involved. And as we have said before, BBI was not in our line of thought. It was not in part of our plans. Our focus was to deliver on the Jubilee manifesto, and BBI, or rather changing the constitution, was never part of our Jubilee manifesto. And the Deputy President is on record. I don't speak for him, but he's on record since I can see he has become a subject of this discussion. He's on record as having said, let those who have been given the mandate to run the BBI affairs speed it up so that we can finish, and then we get back to the agenda of rebuilding the nation, reviving our economy, dealing with COVID-19, and many other issues that we have, the high cost of fuel, the high cost of electricity. We've seen the losses that Kenya Power is making. Is it going to be able to survive? Those are the things that worry us most. So BBI is not, whether it passes or fails, to me as Caleb, it really doesn't affect me in any way. Politically, it does not affect me.
All right, I'll come to you, Salat, because we keep hearing that whether it passes or not. What do you read into that?
What I want to tell my good friend Caleb is that the problem with us Kalenjins, in fact, in 2010, we were again the team that the community that decided not to support that particular process then. And then here we are again. We want to be to tie the fact that one of us, in this case, the Deputy President will be a candidate in 2022 with this process of BBI. And I think some people, and I want to tell Caleb, one thing I admire about the Deputy President, he has said over and over that Kenyans are not stupid. Kenya si wajinga. And you could tell from the Bomet's votes that people saw that there's good things that will come to them through this BBI. So Wakenya si wajinga, and we believe that. And we do urge my good friend Caleb that it's about time we look at the amendment for what it is for our people, not what is expected in 2022, because that is where we go wrong. And this is for posterity. This is for our children's children. And the moment we tie to that, you know, we're here now, tomorrow we're not. So if a document, we look at it, and I'm glad Kericho and Bomet looked at the document, the leadership there at the county level, and saw that there is benefits that will be derived from these amendments.
Yeah.
So I want Caleb, we will cross that bridge of 2022 when we get there. But for now, let us read, all the stages and the processes that we've begun. And I agree with him. We've started from initial gathering of views from the public, and then also now going for the signatures, and now we're here. So we'll go to Parliament. And for sure, I even know the people of Nandi, even though their leadership said no, the people of Nandi will vote for this constitution because it's going to be good for them. They are good people. And even the people of Baringo, I still believe, given a chance and proper explanation, they will still vote for this at the referendum stage.
Let me ask you this, Vice Chair, to the point that Honorable Kangata was making, that you appear to be making moves and taking actions that are making the Deputy President more popular and earning him sympathy votes with what he described as harassment and all of the actions he talked about. Do you not see that he is one and others are, quote, ganging up against him, and that is seen by the public, and that they would have sympathy for him?
I think when you have the entire leadership in the country ganging up against you, there must be something very wrong with you. Otherwise, at least you would have some partners in terms of the party leadership, the ODM leadership,
Kangata appears
the
to have joined them.
leadership. I'm talking about party leaders.
He was a leader who we
leadership.
rejected.
No, I'm talking about the Kanu leadership, the Kanu leader Gideon, Raila for ODM, Kalonzo for Wiper, and the rest. And the other leaders, like in the coast, people like Joho. When you go to Western, people like Oparanya. Now you have people in the Council of Governors. When everybody is actually ganging up against you, there must be something very wrong with you. In Mount Kenya, the mood and the feeling is that the DP is opposing this BBI because it appears to bring more resources to Mount Kenya. And I like what Salat has said. This BBI is devolving funds from 15%. Today it is a minimum 15%. Most of these counties are getting actually more than 15% to 35%. Now, when the BBI passes, and the principle of one man, one vote, 1 shilling, it means based on population, and some of their areas are very densely populated, they become beneficiaries. Now, this is part of the idea of equalization and equalizing people. But even Mheshimiwa Kangata here can tell you, when we were trying to rationalize the revenue sharing, the same deputy president was a force behind. And this time Kangata was actually on the other side, making sure, because it appeared that the counties of the Mount Kenya region are going to be beneficiaries of the revised formula, he fought it. He's now fighting BBI because it appears to be benefiting the people of Mount Kenya. And I like what Salat has said. This is not about Mount Kenya. It's about equalization of the people. Because you cannot have a constituency which has 300,000 people getting the same CDF with a constituency which has 17,000.
All right.
And that is what this thing is all about. And that's why I'm saying to Kangata, they should be happy if we are making the DP popular, or we are giving him sympathy votes. What I can assure you, Sophia, these people who have been lying to the DP, he needs to go into introspect and ask himself whether he's been taken for a ride or whether what they tell him is what is on the ground. So Bitukwa ground is very, very different.
So as you sit here tonight,
and as we are talking, Sophia, I am sorry, they are the ones who have been going around Mount Kenya to provoke the leadership, to provoke the president. Ever since the president pronounced himself, they have been to Kiambu, they have been to Nyandarua. This weekend they are coming to Muranga, Katanga, actually my constituency. And you keep wondering, and I keep asking myself, wheelbarrows, it's only Mount Kenya that needs wheelbarrows?
Okay, got your point.
Border borders, it's only Mount Kenya that needs Harambes, it's only Mount Kenya. How come they don't do them in other parts of the country?
All right, as you respond, Honorable Kangata, as you sit here tonight, do you then, right now, support BBI or not?
First, two issues. One, Kenya is a democracy. We believe in freedom of movement, freedom of expression, and therefore, if DP decides to go to Muranga, to go to Nyandarua, it is his democratic right, and that should not really bother anyone. That's number one. Secondly, let me correct his argument about BBI and the revenue sharing formula. Personally, and by there I want to thank him, we really pushed for the so-called 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote during the Senate debate about in June up to about December or thereabout. But when I compare that formula that I was pushing in Senate and the one in BBI, I see a disparity. Because the one in BBI, when you take out number 1 counties to number 10, the ones that are going to benefit in terms of devolved funds per capita, that is per person, you don't find a single Mount Kenya county among the top 10. You still find Wajir, you still find Garissa, you still find Lamu being the counties that are going to benefit once BBI passes per person. Unlike what some people are saying, this thing is going to assist our region. So for me, I think what I was fighting strongly in Senate has not been reflected in BBI. Now, as to whether I support BBI or not, let me say that I see some demerits in BBI, I see some merits in BBI. As to whether I will support it, I'm yet to decide. What are the demerits I see in BBI? The proposal to expand parliament, for me, I think is a little bit problematic. Reason being, we are proposing to have about 200 nominated members of parliament potentially. Senators will be doubled from currently 47 to about 94. You all know how much it takes to pay a member of parliament, to pay his bodyguards, to build an office for him. So I foresee a situation where we shall have a bloated parliament and the tax upon the common farmer, the tea farmer, the coffee farmer may shoot up. And for me, further is problematic. There are merits, they are positive. Let me highlight.
So today it comes because it will come
development fund.
Hold on,
it's a positive.
Senator. If it comes today, it will be a yes vote or a no vote, as you've heard. So if it came today, you'd vote yes or no simply.
We wait. It's still not yet. We are still debating to see whether my colleagues can agree to an uncontentious...
They have indicated they will not.
No, we will still talk to them. They are our friends.
So they are friends. The senator tell let me say this one.
We'll talk to them.
When he talks about 94 senators,
hold on,
he knows clearly the 47 women reps are no longer going to be there. These have been brought to the Senate. There is no addition in terms of the women representation. You have just moved them from being women reps to senators. You have a male senator and a woman senator.
And I want
those numbers which they are trying to bandy around, they are being dishonest.
And I want
and the equalization, this gender thing, this has to happen. It's in the Constitution. Actually, by now they should have been dissolved by Muranga because they had failed to abide by the Constitution. It was the
president who was to do the dissolving, not Muranga.
It was...
he advised.
My friend, the courts again. All right? But let's not even go there because you have to take into consideration what it means to the entire nation.
I want us to get this conversation moving forward. As you respond briefly, then I go to Kositany.
There's something he said about a bloated legislature. I think the president the other day said that we're losing 2 billion daily to corruption. And I think if you look at daily losing 2 billion, and in one of the clauses in BBI, it says that those who will, the prosecution time for those who are found to be corrupt will be reduced. That to me, if we can actually reduce corruption, we can still afford to have an equitable and to have more people reflecting the face of Kenya, representing us at the parliament, and we will be able to afford to pay that if we reduce that amount which the president says is daily being lost. 2 billion is a lot of money, so we can still afford.
Let's move this conversation forward. We'll wait to see how it develops in as far as BBI is concerned in coming days and the processes therein, heading into Parliament, both houses of Parliament. Honorable Kositany, I will begin with you as we talk about the formations we are seeing beginning to take shape. We've seen the likes of Kalonzo Musyoka, Moses Wetangula, Musalia Mudavadi, as well as Gideon Moi coming together to campaign, even in that part of the country where you are now, in those campaigns. What do you make of all this, the entry of Mukisa Kitui as well in the presidential race, indicating interest in that? The DP is there. ODM today extending the time for people who desire to be candidates on their ticket to be able to submit their names. What do you make of all of this shifting and realigning?
Sophia, before I answer you, I think I need to just make an observation and a comment which is important for Kenyans, and advise my colleague Nick Salat and Murathe to stop being tribal. Let us stop looking at everything and mentioning tribes. You see, like Murathe is saying, is it only Kikuyus who require wheelbarrows? And this Nick Salat is saying the Kalenjins are the ones who keep objecting the referendum. When we rejected the 2010 referendum, Kenyans voted from across the country. The no vote had about over 3 million votes. The religious leaders had given their support to the no vote, and they were not necessarily Kalenjins. So let us stop. Let us expand our minds beyond tribe, because that is one of the biggest problems that we have in Kenya. Let me come to your question, Sophia, about these formations and alliances that are coming up. They are very welcome. They are very welcome. It's just that they are there for the wrong reasons. Their alliances are coming on because of sharing of power. People have sat down and said, how are we going to get power? Let us come together. I'm happy that they are doing that. You see, Murathe was on record as having said that William Ruto will not be there in 2022, or was it his drinking mate Atuoli who said that Ruto will not be there in 2022. But I think that is something that they're realizing now, that William Ruto is a force to reckon with, and he will be there in 2022. So let us find a way of fielding one or two strong presidential candidates to go up to form a formidable force against William Ruto. And I also think, I have no proof of this, and that is why I say I think some people within this conversation thought that Raila Odinga would not run for president in 2022. I think that has come to a realization that he's going to be on the ballot, and that is why those four gentlemen came together, and now they started saying, how will we fly? We have no wings. So they say, let's look for Raila Odinga's wings, but they realize that Raila Odinga wants to use his wings to fly himself. So it's a nice conversation that is going on. For us, we are focused. We know who our presidential candidate is. We have commenced on our Meet the People tours across the country. We have been doing so while we were doing development, and we combined the two. So I think it's a welcome conversation that now people are realizing that the actual 2022 is here with us, and they need to start preparing. And Raila is not going to carry anybody on his shoulders. He's going to fly alone with his wings. So they've got to look for their own wings. And it is important that as they come together, let them first of all give us who their presidential candidate is, because that is where that is when we'll know that they are serious. Once they give us the name of their presidential candidate, and that will be a lovely day for us to proceed with the campaigns for 2022.
And Honorable Kositany, I'll ask you this before I come back to studio. You talk about that you know your presidential candidate, you've already commenced those Meet the People tours. So if then you know all of that, do you know which vehicle you will use to 2022? You've said 2022 is here with us. So what is it going to be?
Well, I will use UDA. I will use UDA as my party in 2022. I don't know which one the deputy president will use, but I will be in UDA.
And you are donned in UDA colors as well tonight. I'll come to you, Honorable.
Yes, the UDA colors. I am here in Bungoma because I'm campaigning for the UDA candidate in Kabuchai and crisscrossing over to Matungu.
Several of us members of parliament of the Tanga wing are here, and we've had several very interactive meetings today. Sorry?
Will the DP be coming down as well to campaign for the
DP is not coming down. The DP doesn't need to come down. We can handle this the way we handle Musambweni. This we can handle on our own. We don't need a sledgehammer for this.
Right. Thank you very much. Yes.
It's not fair to let Caleb get away with this. The Political Parties Act, the Kenyan Constitution, says if you propagate the interest or you appear to be promoting the interest of another party, you are deemed to have left the party. There will be a National Management Committee meeting on Monday. I'm putting Caleb on notice. We are going to kick him out of Jubilee.
Caleb, you better take that seriously. The last time Isaac Maora was here and he was told that.
Do not bring me those kind of threats. I am not that type. Please try and threaten somebody else.
You are out on Monday.
You are in Kibra campaigning for an ODM candidate. So really don't talk. You chased us out of Jubilee. You actually made statements that say that we are not welcome in Jubilee. So don't try and threaten me. Don't ever try.
You have just said it. You have said you are in UDA. You are in UDA colors.
I will say it again. I will say it again, David. I am campaigning for a UDA candidate, David. I'm saying it straight on the face. I am campaigning for UDA.
And you are saying you will run on a UDA ticket.
Deputy Secretary General of Jubilee.
What is so hard about just getting out and you leave Jubilee in peace? You people, look, just make up your minds, because what you are short of saying is that because we know where you are is where the Deputy President will be in 2022. And Sophia, please, people must separate 2022 with the BBI. For our purposes, BBI is very distinct and separate. Once we have passed BBI, particularly those of us who are from Mount Kenya region who support the president and support the handshake, we will actually not care who becomes president. Even William Ruto can become president for that matter, because all these things will be entrenched in the constitution, they'll be enshrined, and the rights of the people will be there. About these formations which you are now talking about, we are talking about inclusion. When he says about sharing seats, we are talking about the face of Kenya. The reason they are fighting this BBI and this inclusion is because they want this seat. They are dictators. They want it the way it is, with all the powers vested on one person. And then you have this feeling of exclusion for the rest of the country. And that is why they will not support it.
And Salat, to the point that he was making, that you have seen those supporting and coming together to cooperate and pull together with the Chairman Kanu, he has been said to, on one of the rallies, to be funding these others who are telling Raila to support them. What do you say to that assertion?
I go back to what he's just said. The statement that was read from State House today was read by like-minded individuals who are pro-BBI. It had nothing to do with 2022. The focus that my good friend Kositany has been is just about 2020. Nothing else matters. There is nothing that you can bring. There is no way you can try and bring Kenya together without mentioning the fact that one of his he's following the DP. It's all about 2022. In fact, when we cross and go through to succeed in passing the BBI, it helps everybody. Every 5 years, we go against, we tear each other, just because we want that center of power where everything is concentrated. And BBI wants to spread it. We want to belong. We want to have a Kenya that's for all of us. But some people are so focused that they want to be a one-man show. And that is what their focus is. But I believe that BBI will make Kenya a better place because we'll have everybody on board. So even if today, at the passage of BBI, there will be enough seats so that everybody will believe they belong. But at this stage, I want Caleb to just get out of believing that 2022 is a matter of life and death. No,
but isn't
Kenya is more important.
Isn't this new alliance? I'll come to you for a rebuttal, Kositany. This is a new alliance. Are you then saying purely focused on the by-elections or BBI? Isn't it also having an eye on next year?
But we're focused on what's at stake right now, which is BBI. There is no denying that 2022 is around the corner. But what is at stake right now is not to go to 2022 and go back to 2017, where we've been at each other's throats, go back to 2013 and beyond and backwards.
All right.
We want to have a Kenya that's so different and have an election that is not acrimonious, where people will come out and say, we have elected the people we want. It doesn't matter, and I agree with him. If the deputy president so be, let him stay focused, because he's jumping ship all the time. It's either supporting BBI or not supporting BBI.
Another question is, have you considered as Kanu perhaps to advise these other three of your colleagues in this corporation, that is Ford Kenya, as well as ANC and Wiper, to formally exit the NASA coalition so as they keep appearing to lean back on Raila, who has said he's not going to endorse anybody?
What is at play right now is because where Caleb is in there's a by-election, and
yes.
Whereas all the parties have candidates there. It's got nothing to do with, they're just fighting, making sure that one of their own wins. Okay. So it's not about that.
It's not all the parties. Jubilee does not have a candidate, neither does Kanu.
But we are actually in a coalition with Jubilee, and we are supporting,
Kanu is in a coalition with Jubilee. Wiper has a cooperation agreement with Jubilee. So it's not about NASA.
Which is now UD.
Well, UDA, for your information, Caleb, which is the former PDR, also signed a post-election coalition with Jubilee.
Let me bring it.
No, I think to be fair to my friend Caleb, and we are good friends with Caleb, these formations are about the face of Kenya.
Okay, and you made the point. Let me please bring it to Honorable Kangata. You've been listening and quiet for some time, but you've heard that Honorable Kositany could be joining you outside of, well, he's not in political leadership in as far as the party is concerned, as in the House that is, but as SG, but that the party will begin proceedings to eject him. What do you say to that?
From a legal point of view, I think that's not tenable, reason being that PDR is the one now that is called UDA. And PDR or UDA has a cooperation agreement with Jubilee Party. In fact, in the Senate, the deputy majority leader, Senator Dulo, is technically a member of UDA. So how do you then eject someone or members of a party that legally you are cooperating with them? So I am not so sure his argument is tenable. In fact, I think that was a calculated move deliberately by those who support DP to join a party that is legally into some cooperation with the Jubilee, so that if an attempt is made to eject them from Parliament for flouting the Constitution or even the Political Parties Act, a court that is exercising its mandate independently will definitely not allow that. As to
the political alignments.
Yeah, yes. One of the reasons I suspect from where I see it, Deputy President will be a very formidable candidate in 2022 is the fact that the guys I saw today in State House, they are in deep political civil war amongst themselves. And so, for instance, once that group endorses, let's say, Raila, definitely Musalia Mudavadi and Kalonzo will defect back and support DP. Once Kalonzo Musyoka is declared the flag bearer of that team, definitely Tinga and Musalia will defect and support the DP. So, in fact, I imagine the strategy is for them to hold back, to appear as if they are coalescing together. But the day a candidate will be announced by that group, there will be mass defection, either by the leader themselves together with the people, or the people will troop back to the DP, leave the leaders hanging out there. Because what they have done, particularly over the last 1 week, is to poison their people, to radicalize their people, that it is me who should get that position of being a flag bearer. It's me or nothing. So I can tell you, they say Raila, the Luyas troop back to Ruto. They say
so they'll be all coming back to support Ruto, not Ruto supporting another.
No, you know, Ruto is saying, here I am, me I'm going. Okay. Yeah, here I am. So you see, the advantage this other group has is that they have a clear candidate. But now they are here saying, oh, it's you you'll become, it's you, you'll become.
Is Senator Kangata in UDA?
So,
just for the record.
Are you in UDA?
yeah, no, me, I'm a Jubilee Party member. But I'm talking
But
politics
one with
as
great
it is.
admiration for
No,
the UDA politics.
I'm talking of politics as it is.
Okay.
Because, look here, last week, Musalia Mudavadi issued a hard-hitting letter against Raila. Kalonzo exchanged harsh words with Tinga. It was there. It's on record.
All right. Let me take it to Honorable Kositany. I wonder what your thoughts are on these predictions that are, and scenarios being painted by Honorable Kangata. And to that also, please comment on these sentiments from the DP that there are those in government seeking to push him out of government.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Sophia. One thing I would like to say and clarify what Murathe and Nick Salat are trying to push, that let us separate BBI from 2022. If that is the case, if BBI is not about 2022, then why can't it wait? Why can't we deal with COVID-19 first? Why can't we deal with the revival of the economy first? Why can't we deal with the huge public debt that keeps growing that we have? Why can't we deal with unemployment first? What is so urgent about BBI? It is 2022 is fast approaching, and they know that William Ruto is a force to reckon. Number two, let them deal with their BBI and leave William Ruto out of it. Why are they so desperate for a position from William Ruto, either to support or oppose? It is not a must. William Ruto has said BBI is not his priority. It is not our priority, has Tanga. We have other major priorities. And the sooner they get it done with this BBI story of theirs, the better it is for this country, the better it is for William Ruto, the better it will be for each and every one of us. And I think Murathe has been on record. I've seen him trying to threaten me that they will be having an NMC to kick me out. That is okay. We have not even decided, or rather ever had a thought of kicking out Murathe, who has publicly said that he's supporting an ODM candidate. We have not reprimanded Uhuru for working with a person who disputed our election, who has never accepted that Jubilee won the 2017 election twice. So really, who is fooling who here? Who should be facing disciplinary action? Anyway, but that is their take. But what we should do going forward is these people should stop bringing in William Ruto into every aspect. William Ruto is a presidential candidate for 2022. Nobody can kick William Ruto out of government. They have tried stories of impeachment. They know so well that cannot sail through. And that is why they want to try intimidation. Please resign. If you don't want to work with us, resign. But the biggest defender of the Jubilee government is William Ruto. In fact, at times we tell him, why are you still defending these guys who are harassing you and disrespecting you? And he says, you guys, I have a boss. I respect my boss. So we will let William Ruto play his cards. He's playing them well. But I can assure you, let them attempt. Let them even attempt. They have thought about it. Now let them attempt to kick William Ruto out of government. And
I'll give you the first chance of closing remarks because we're about to wind up. Do you see the hand of the president in his succession at all in any of these alignments of forming?
Well, I don't know, and I really don't care, because the president has a democratic right. If he feels that he wants to continue playing politics and he doesn't want to retire honorably like Mwai Kibaki, then he can support a candidate of his choice. That is very welcome. It is within his democratic right. All that we ask of him is that he should also respect the democratic rights of others. He should respect our democratic right to support William Ruto. He should respect the democratic rights of people like Kangata and people of, who come from his region. To support a candidate of their choice. Okay. And as I've said before, Sophia, the president should never feel guilty for having said, I will go for 10 years and William Ruto will go for 10 years. That was his own verbal expression, under no coercion. There was no agreement. We did not intimidate him. We did not force him. We did not threaten him. So he should feel free to retract those words as a supporter person of his candidate. It would be a lovely campaign to see President Kenyatta campaigning for another candidate and William Ruto campaigning on his own on the other side with his troops. That would be very welcome. The other issue that Murathe mentioned, and I don't think it should go without me commenting on it as I give my closing remarks, is that William Ruto is alone. And then he has named that there is Kalonzo on the other side, there is Mudavadi. What does Murathe think all these other people from Mount Kenya who are supporting William Ruto are they not leaders? Those from Western Kenya, many of them. Those from Coast Province, many of them. We don't look at ourselves as we even have support from Kalonzo's backyard. We are participating in a senatorial by-election there. So let us stop thinking that only those tribal kings are the leaders. We have emerging leaders, serious emerging leaders. Kimani Ichung'wah, Ndindi Nyoro, Washali, Didmas Baraza. We have Mohamed of Jichopevu in Mombasa. So we have people from across the divide of the country. And if you really want to see the face of Kenya is in Tanga. And finally, if you want to see those who are facing corruption charges are those supporting BBI. With all those who are clean are those who cannot be threatened, they cannot be intimidated, and they're supporting William Ruto.
Thank you, Honorable Kositany. Vice Chair, a question. There are issues that have come up in political rhetoric, once from Francis Atwoli that the president is too young to retire. Some have put a scenario of a Putin when it comes to President Kenyatta going forward. So his hand in his own succession, and also to the claims that the Deputy President has made that people inside government are seeking to kick him out, as you wind up.
Sophia, the President is going nowhere in terms of he was made the leader of the community, not to become president, so that the community can have leadership and guidance. Even if he stops being president, the president will still be the party leader of the Jubilee party. What my friend Caleb is not telling you is that there are divorce clauses in everything, including that cooperation or coalition agreement with PDR, which we are told was also fraudulently converted into UDA, because that Senate leader, Dulo, that Kangata spoke about, has gone publicly to say they were not involved as a rank and file of the PDR party. These guys went and paid off officials of the PDR, took over. In fact, there is a challenge right now. And like I said, when you have a coalition agreement with somebody, there's always an exit clause about how you can stop doing that. And that one is coming. About the DP, I think the eviction party of the Hustler Mansion is loading. That one you can take to the bank. Very soon there will be an eviction party from the Hustler Mansion in Karen, and I can assure you it is loading.
Impeachment of the Deputy President William Ruto.
However it happens, they are getting out. And finally, these people have never been used to a team play, all right? When you form a team, it doesn't matter. One of the team members becomes the captain. But the most important thing is to be a member of that team. Whether you're the goalkeeper, whether you're the defender, center forward, left wing, blah, blah, blah. So for people to imagine, there can only be one captain anyway. There will only be one candidate anyway. Could be Gideon Moi, could be Kalonzo, could be Raila, could be Musalia. But the most important thing at the moment is the team. And I can assure you, and you started seeing those things happening today, even they announced on the 9th of March, there is now going to be a meeting of all the like-minded members of parliament, similar to what went to Karen. All right? So we're going to have the members of parliament in the Senate and in the National Assembly, and the leadership of the counties, the ones who are like-minded, and then unleash to go and campaign for the BBI. These guys, I don't know why they are prevaricating. It is so easy to just go out there. If they believe they have the people, like my friend Kangata here keeps repeating, that they think the ground is different. The taste of the pudding is in the eating. They should come out boldly and go, no.
Okay.
Carry Kenyans with them.
All right.
Because like Salat told you earlier, the same people who voted no for the 2010 constitution are the ones who are now saying it's a beautiful constitution, we don't need to touch it.
All right. In 10 seconds, perhaps as I come to Salat, with the numbers you've seen the DP with and what Honorable Kositany has talked about, do you think there would be sufficient numbers to impeach him?
I think we have the numbers. These guys always talk about numbers, and sometimes we wonder what numbers. Sometimes it's phone numbers. Kangata here is a witness. Every time you have something in the House that wants to have numbers tallied, they always lose.
So you keep wondering what numbers are these that they keep talking about.
So impeachment motion loading.
It is loading.
All right, it has been said by the Vice Chair. Salat, your closing remarks.
The genesis of all this is through the handshake, the dark moment that Kenya went through after the court case. I think it's important to know and to realize that we cannot go into 2022 remaining with the same constitution that we have. And what I see is that when Caleb's boss started to question the handshake, and all through and through is contradictions and inconsistencies that has followed him all through and through. We want to look at this document for what it will do, change the lives of this nation, the lives of Kenyans. We don't want to look at that, you know, the moment we put a face to it, like Caleb has put a face to everything that happens from here to 2022. We want a document that is for posterity. And we see that from 2008, when this country was almost coming to a standstill, we're still not out of the woods. But the president, through the handshake, through Raila, and some of us who are supporting this cause, we're seeing that inside BBI, we will leave a legacy that is good for all of us and for our children and our children's children.
Okay. Yeah. So there are two people being evicted, Kositany, the DP. Your thoughts as we wind up?
Now, those words by my friend from Muranga, Mr. Murathe, signifies the reason why we had a little bit of divergence or a little bit of some differences between Kieleweke, Mr. Murathe and his team, and myself. Because I saw a philosophy of evicting, of using force, using hard power. For me, I belong to the school of thought that politics, you move it ahead by persuading people, using soft power. So for me, I strongly believe if, for instance, you start starting to eject DP from his position, what happens? Sympathy votes become embedded. Okay, you start, I don't know, you want to kick out this person. I don't believe in that. In fact, that's also another reason I raised in my letter concerning BBI. Why do you use strong arm tactics? Why can't we just talk to people in a more modest manner, in a manner that also respects Kenya as a democracy? Remember, there are people who fought, they even died, they lost their property for the ideal of democracy. And a democracy demands that you persuade people, don't use force. Because at the end of the day, we want a Kenya that lives to democratic ideals that people like Matiba and Rubia fought for. Don't use your thorax. Persuade people. Okay. Soft power.
All right.
But they should always be.
And in case you missed it, you first heard it here on Crossfire on KTN News. Vice Chair Jubilee David Murathe saying that an eviction party, in his words, is loading for Deputy President William Ruto. They have the numbers, in his words, he said as well, to impeach him, and that is coming in the days ahead. Thank you very much for joining us. I had with me this evening from Bungoma County, Honorable Caleb Kositany, who's the Soy MP. Thank you, sir, for having been with us here in studio. Irungu Kangata, Muranga Senator, Nick Salat, the Secretary General Kanu, and David Murathe, Vice Chair Jubilee. On behalf of the team that made the show possible, thank you for watching Crossfire. We'll see you next time.